about a very offensive sign that used to exist in the windows of a lot of establishments a long time ago. The sign of the times. No blacks, no dogs, no Irish. That's what the signs used to say. No blacks, no dogs, no Irish. Not in here on any day. It was common in the 60s in hotels and B&Bs when the British still believed that they could do just as they pleased. Shops and other places would display that they were racist, filling families with dread just to get a loaf of bread. You could wear out your finest silk and still not get a pint of milk. Now, most of the signs disappeared by the 70s, but there were some that still displayed these. Pubs were the places. Right up to the 80s, you could still display hatred, keep up divisions that have been created. Then to the list they added gypsies, just for an extra touch. And I remember thinking as a young child, do they really hate me that much? You see, my mother, she was Irish, and she came from tinker stock. But to say these things out loud was to put your head upon the block. It always made me sad to see my kind listed at the bottom. A little girl in a hard world feeling a special kind of rotten. Growing up, we were taught that the best things go at the top. For you to feel like a winner, you had to get the #1 slot. Everything else was beneath. Last place is nothing but grief. To succeed, you had to be faster, not slower. To be less good on the scoreboard was to be lower. So as I stared at that sign, I felt more hated than dogs, holding the weight of division and the knowledge there are no gods. Believing I was lucky to have the accent of the people I feared made me all turned up inside. When the England flag was waved, I was never one that cheered. All I wanted was to run and hide. But others on that list couldn't hide their roots like me. Left my fear feeling unjustified, because in reality, I had it easy. I had a little secret, and it wasn't one I shared. There's not a drop of English in me, but that secret made me scared. I was just a little girl looking out into the world, finding hardened places full of insolent faces. I'm not that little girl anymore, but she won't let me forget her, as she tugs on my ear and asks me, are we really doing better? Thank you. To me, there's no such thing. It's about refugees. This does include the loss of life of a very young person. It's called sandcastles. Packed like cattle in a rattle tin truck, and pot luck it's you that gets to live. Scrambling across the fault lines when you never were to blame, heart pain stitched across every scar on your frame until colder than cold has ever known itself to be, when brothers and sisters are claimed by the sea because you see they're not free. Not in their homes and not in this place. Herded like wild things, divided by race, washed up on the shores of indifferent tides, a child with no time to choose sides, and detention the prize for your will to survive. Drowning in the looks of a billion eyes, gathered and aimed through the newspaper lines. But we're escaping the violence. They're bombing our towns. They're searching our streets, doing rounds, holding rounds. Clutching to her breast the only child she has left. Women shunted to the right and men to the left, taken in the night at the government's behest. Sent back to a place that filled them with fear. We feel for you, truly, but you can't stay here. And what of that child face down in the sand and the beautiful life his mother had planned? The front pages echoed, a little boy died, and all of her dreams washed out with the tide. So what price is a life? What would you risk if all of your freedom came down to this? Thank you.